Next, we have the big picture talk, and we have Dr. Pradeep here with us to share with us big picture talk. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. This is a small presentation that I had made to the national mentors a couple of weeks ago. And they were very keen that I should also make it to the state mentors. And so I'm repeating it again. And of course, the national mentors have heard it now a couple of times. But Divya, can I confirm that you can see my screen and hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to talk about the idea of compounding. Just give me a minute and I will put this light off, which is behind me, and so that otherwise it's shining on all of you. Okay, I hope this is better for all of you without the light shining behind. Okay, the idea of compounding. Okay, now what does it mean? Compound. And I'm sure all of us have learned in school, 10th standard maths or 9th standard maths, we learn about simple interest and compound interest, no? And I'm sure all of you are familiar with this idea. So I just want to show you an Excel sheet which I have made, which will help us to all understand what simple interest is and compound interest is. Can I confirm, Divya, that you can see my Excel sheet?
I can.
Okay. So here you can see, let me just make it a little bigger. Here you can see a person who is earning simple interest. Now, all of us know what is simple interest. Let us say this, I'll give you an example. Let us say this person puts in 1,000 rupees. Okay, at simple interest. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. 1,000 rupees he puts in at simple interest, and let us say he earns 8% per month. Okay, so 8% per year. So all of you know 8% of 1,000 rupees means first year he will earn 80 rupees. Second year he will earn 80 rupees more, 160 rupees. Third year he will earn 80 rupees more. So little by little you can see his amount is increasing. First it was 1,080, then it was 160 rupees got added. Then another 80 rupees got added. And see how this graph is going. Little by little every year, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 80 rupees is added. And at the end of 40 years of simple interest, he earned 3,200 rupees because 80, 80, 80 into 40 years is 3,200. No? And his 1,000 rupees, initial 1,000 rupees has now become 4,200 rupees. And you can see how this graph is. So steady, slowly, steadily, his amount is increasing, little by little by little by little increasing. Okay. Now what happens if it is instead of simple interest, what happens if this is compound interest? What is the difference? In compound interest, he earns the same 8% per year. But in the second year, that 80 rupees gets added. So it becomes 1,080. His 1,000 rupees has become 1,080. In the second year, he earns 80% of 1,080. So instead of earning 80% on 1,000 rupees, his amount has increased. It's 80% of 1,080. So he gets about 166 rupees in the second year. And that gets added. So he gets, little by little, he's earning compound interest. And so this person at the end of 40 years has his amount has become 21,725 rupees. This first person who earned simple interest got 4,200 rupees. But compound interest, it became 21,725 just because the interest was getting added to the amount and that was earning itself more interest. And so little bit more and more interest every month is getting added. And see how this graph is. This is an exponential graph. Initially, it looks like it is the same. This one is looking straight, and this is also looking straight initially. But as more and more time goes, this graph is becoming steeper and steeper and steeper, faster and faster. And it's starting to curve upwards. And after some time, it's becoming almost a straight line upwards, becoming fast, very fast. The speed of increase is much, much more. This is compound interest. Okay. Now, let us look at what this means in real life by looking at another example of another young man who at the age of 20, you can see here, let me increase this also. At the age of 20, he starts investing 1,000 rupees per month. Okay. So every month he puts 1,000 rupees. So in a year, he gets 12,000 rupees. And let us say he doesn't get 8%, he gets only 5% interest. Okay, that's very reasonable. 5% interest. So in the first year, he gets 600 rupees. That gets added to the 12,000 and it becomes 12,600. The second year, he earns 5% interest on 12,600. So his interest has now become 1,230. He has put in another 12,000 rupees. And so his amount is now increased even more. You know, it is the initial 600 rupees got added. Now this 1,230 is getting added to this. Little by little, this is getting compounded. The interest is getting added to his amount that he's investing is increasing. Every year 12,000, 12,000, this is what he's investing. The interest is increasing because he's getting interest on that, plus the interest which is there from the previous year. And by the end of 40 years at retirement, when he is 60 years old and he wants to retire, he put in 4,80,000, 1,000 rupees every month. But that 4,18,000 rupees has increased to almost 14.5 lakhs. Just compounding every year, compounding. Okay. And with the interest getting added, it is now almost 15 lakhs that is getting added every year. Whereas now look at another person who started late. He started at the age of 40, not at the age of 20, like most of us. Most of us started late. And he starts giving 1,000 rupees per month. And he also is getting the same 5% interest every month. But little by little over time, he also is earning compound interest. And he put in half the amount. The other person put in 4.8 lakhs. This guy has put in 2.4 lakhs. But his amount has increased to 4.16 lakhs. Now just imagine, he invested for half the amount of time. The other person A invested for 40 years. Person B has invested for 20 years, half the time. He has put in half the amount. Person A put in 4.8 lakhs. Person B has put in 2.4 lakhs. But he has earned less than 1/3 of the total interest. His other person has totally got some 15 lakhs in his account. This person has only got 4.1 lakhs in the account. You know, just because the other person started early and kept on faithfully doing it for a longer period of time. And so this graph started getting faster and faster and faster and faster because he stayed invested for a longer period of time. The graph started getting faster and faster and faster and more things started happening. The interest started getting more and more interest. And just by staying in the market for longer time, investing for a longer period of time, person number A, who started at the younger age, has earned a very good interest. Isn't it? Now, just let me get back to my PowerPoint presentation. This is what, Divya, can you see my PowerPoint now?
Yes, Dr. Pradeep.
Yes, sir.
This idea of compound interest, no one other than Albert Einstein. Remember, he's not a mathematician. Well, he is, but he's not a finance guy. He's a scientist, a physicist. Okay. And he said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand it pays it. Now, why would Albert Einstein say that? And why am I taking this class today? This is not a finance class. I'm not a finance guru. You know, I'm not trying to take a finance session over here. Why is it the eighth wonder of the world? It's just absolutely amazing to watch that graph, how things multiply. And Albert Einstein could see this happening everywhere in nature. Suppose you go to the mountains, snowy mountains. You go to Switzerland and you start a snowball rolling down the mountain. What happens? That snowball earns compound interest, the eighth wonder of the world. It's getting faster and faster, bigger and bigger. And by the time it reaches the bottom of the hill, it's become a big snowball. And I'm sure you've seen in the movies how children make snowmen. They make a man out of snow. How do they get that big ball of the body? By rolling a small snowball down the hill. And as it comes down, 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 it becomes so big and fat that it can become a snowman. We know the stories of landslides. During the rainy season, all over India, we've had a lot of landslides. Recently, Wayanad had a severe landslide. How did that happen? Small, it started something small, but compound interest. It works badly, it works against people in such situations. That little landslide is getting bigger and bigger, and finally a huge mass of land just swept into the sea. It's the eighth wonder of the world, the way things, compound interest works. And we saw what happens when somebody invests money regularly, small amounts, and that money is earning compound interest and multiplying, getting bigger and bigger. And just by staying faithful and staying invested for a long period of time, that money becomes a huge amount. That's compound interest. But it doesn't only work for investing. It doesn't only work when we are getting savings and investing. Let me give an example of giving. Giving. When you give a gift, when you give something to somebody, that also earns compound interest, isn't it? Let us say that, for an example, let us say that you identify some poor family. Okay, let us say a poor girl child from an underprivileged background. Let us say a Dalit background. Okay, so a poor girl child from a Dalit or underprivileged background. And you talk to the parents and you say, I will pay for this child's education. It's a gift that you are giving to this family. But that gift earns compound interest. Not for you, well, also for you, but for that family. Just imagine now this girl child who would never have gone to school. Now she starts going to school and she gets educated. Correct? And as she gets educated, it completely changes the family because she is now bringing knowledge into the family. She gets married to a different person because of her education. She gets a better job because of her education. She earns better because of her education. I don't know how many of you have heard this saying, which is there in public health circles. Education is the best vaccination. What does that mean? We talk about DPT vaccination, tetanus vaccination, polio drops, so many vaccines. But the best vaccine against the most number of diseases, which increases the life expectancy, the maximum, is education. The life expectancy of an uneducated person compared to the life expectancy of an educated person is so different. So this girl child has now been educated and her life expectancy increases. When she gets pregnant, she takes her tablets, she gets a tetanus injection. Her baby is born healthier, not low birth weight, not malnourished. And she's able to vaccinate her baby and children. And she has been educated, so she knows the importance of education, so she sends her children to school. And our children become educated. And you can see the snowball effect, compounding effect. The small investments that you made into the life of this poor girl child has had ripple effects. And little by little by little, her life, her family life, her community, her children, all compound interest. That's what Albert Einstein said. It's the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand it pays it. Just think about somebody who is careful in the nutrition, in their food. Okay. Somebody starts when they are 25, 30, or even younger, to be careful about what they eat. They eat healthy. They don't start smoking. They live a healthy lifestyle. That earns compound interest. By the time they're 60, 70, the difference between this person and another person who was unhealthy has become stark. This person is living a healthy life. This person is the compound interest. The small choices he made is now earning compound interest in his life. Let us say somebody who doesn't understand this, makes bad decisions. They pay compound interest. That's what Albert Einstein says. Small bad decisions that they made is earning compound interest. And they're facing consequences of it many years later because it starts them off on a wrong course. I think I completely agree with Albert Einstein. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't understand it pays it. It works in every part of our life. Now, why are we talking about all this today? Because I really, truly believe that the efforts and the inputs, the gifts of time and energy and input that each of you is putting into the lives of your mentees is earning compound interest. I truly believe it. Recently, I had the opportunity to go last year to go with the national mentor, master trainer, somebody from the IT team, and we all went to Bihar. And we went to Madhepura district. And there we went to one of the health and wellness centers to visit and to see how it was. And a state mentor also came from Bhagalpur district. So they traveled from Bhagalpur to Madhepura, and we all went to Madhepura. And with us that day, there happened to be one of my classmates, one of my college mates, who was about many years senior to me in college, but happened to be in Madhepura district that time. So she also came with us to the Health and Wellness Center. And so we reached the Health and Wellness Center. Everybody was there from the team. You can imagine all the layers. Master trainer, IT, NM, SM, CHO, everybody is there in the Health and Wellness Center. And we reached the Health and Wellness Center and we could see the CHO sitting with his mobile phone. He's seeing patients and in between he is attending the group mentoring session because the group mentoring session was going on at that time. Okay. So he was paying attention in the group mentoring session. Then the patient will come, he'll see and send the patient off and continue paying attention in the group mentoring session. And all of us could see he had put on his wall flexi boards with the decision trees so that when a patient comes with fever, he can just quickly look up and remind himself of what questions to ask and what management to follow, how to follow the algorithm or the decision tree. And my friend who had come, who was visiting, she was very impressed. And she told me, Pradeep, out of 100 CHOs, if 25% only succeed, suppose you succeed only with 25% of the 100 CHOs, like this CHO who we are seeing, if 25% attend the sessions and they learn how to use the decision trees and they learn to, do consultation properly. And their team management skills is improving. Their public health skills are improving. Just 25%, let us say 75% are bad. They don't get it. But 25% get it. Then she went further. Forget 25%. Even 10%, she said. Suppose 10% of the people get it. 90% don't get it. But 10% get it. Their lives are changed. And their practice is changed, she said. Just think what impact they will have in this community because they are going to see patients, The patients are going to get better treatment. They were previously not able to get treatment. Now they're getting treatment. They're going into the community. They're helping the community to be healthy. They're working for the health and wellness of their community. What a ripple effect. Families are becoming healthy. Communities are becoming healthy. What a ripple effect this is going to have. If only 10% get it, that's also fine. Because that itself will have compound interest. That was what she was trying to convey. That even that 10% earning compound interest is a huge impact and a huge influence on the health scene in our country. So I want to end with just a couple of quotations. This is the first quotation. Cast your bread upon the waters. See, sometimes this looks like a foolish thing to do. We are just throwing bread into the water. We don't know what effect it is happening. It is having. We don't know if it is helping anybody. We don't know if anybody is benefiting. We just come for the group mentoring session and throw bread into the water. Some CHOs, it's only a black box. We don't know if they're listening. We don't know if they're paying attention. But we go on casting bread onto the water. And after many days, you will find it again. And I tell you, it will have earned compound interest. The fish have been eating it, the ducks have been eating it, and the environment has been changing, the ecosystem is developing, and it will earn compound interest and return to you after many days. And here's another saying, which we have heard many times, which Dr. Jakin also has shared, and I think I have also shared it a few times. Let us not become weary in doing good. Good, just giving gifts, casting bread on the waters, just attending the group mentoring sessions, doing personal mentoring calls, checking up on our CHOs, encouraging them, taming the advice monster, listening to what they're saying, validating their feelings, helping them to find solutions. Don't become weary. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing good. Why? Because at the proper time, we will reap a harvest. That is compound interest. Now we are in the sowing time, where we are going on sowing seeds. Sowing time. But one day we will get the harvest time, when we will see the changes, see the benefits. And harvest is also compound interest. When we put one mango seed into the ground, we don't get one mango in return. One mango seed grows into a mango tree and gives hundreds and thousands of mangoes over the years. Compound interest. That mango seed is earning compound interest. And that's how the harvest will come. So during the sowing time, it looks, so much of effort and so much of labor, and it's easy to get weary and to get, fed up and bored and, oh no, why are we doing this? But we should always keep reminding ourselves that all these efforts, like Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. All these efforts are earning compound interest. And one day we will reap a harvest with compound interest if we do not give up. So with these words, I want to bring my big picture talk to a close and hand over back to Dr. Divya to take us to the next session. Thank you.